Today we have the 2025 Kia K4. This is Kia's all-new compact sedan, here to rival the Mazda 3, the Honda Civic, the Jetta, etc. And it's got a lot to offer. We're going to take a full detailed look at the exterior, the interior, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to this 2025 Kia K4. Now this is redesigned, all new model actually, basically the Forte, but all new model for Kia for their compact sedan. And let's go through the trim levels. We've got the base LX, LXS, good value EX, GT line, and the GT line turbo, which we have right here. So up front on this GT line turbo model, you're gonna find some different accents than you'll get with some of the other trims. It's gonna be a little sportier, just like the regular GT line as well. You got a chrome, or like kind of a shiny bar, like a satin running across that grille, which looks nice. The glossy black grille pieces here as well. You're actually gonna get LED headlights as standard, and this amber daytime running light standard as well. We've got the blinker going on right now, but you will have that as the daytime running light. The one difference with this model is that the GT Turbo gets these cube-like projector headlights, whereas the other models get reflector headlights. And this does technically have all-weather lights like fog lights, but it's not a separate housing, so that is unique. The paint on this one is called Morning Haze. It's a non-metallic type of paint. It looks pretty slick. It's that milky color that you get in a lot of new vehicles nowadays. Wheels are gonna range a lot from 16 to 17 to 18-inch wheels on this model, and they're black finish 18-inch wheels here. What do you think of the overall design of this Kia K4? I think it looks pretty sharp. Taking a closer look at these mirrors, you'll get the LED turn signals in the GT models, but all of them are gonna have heated mirrors. So that's great, especially those of you in cold climates. And dimensionally, this car is 185 inches. So it's a little bit bigger than some of the other compact class vehicles. They've kind of gradually grown, but not quite as big as what you'll find in a typical mid-size sedan. Coming to the rear, one difference is that GT models will get an independent rear suspension, whereas the others will have a torsion beam. So handling could vary ever so slightly. You'll also get LED taillights. What do you think of those? These look really unique. It's definitely a kind of a standout design from Kia. It's pretty bold, but what do you guys think? Now, when we get to the cargo area, a feature that is standard on every trim is their smart hands-free trunk. This is pretty cool. I did not expect this to be on the base model of a compact sedan. As long as you have the key fob with you, which is a smart key across the board, you can get into the trunk just by standing here. You don't have to swipe your foot, wave your hand, push a button. You can turn that feature off or on, because you can inadvertently open this trunk if you're a little slow walking around the back of your car. But still, pretty cool. Taking a closer look at the trunk, you will notice you get a little pull tab right here. This is great. You don't have to touch the trunk, which usually has a bunch of filth on it and dirt, and you've got pull tabs to lower those seats down. You will not find those pull tabs on the base LX model, but you've got a spacious trunk on every trim. It's about 14.5 cubic feet, which is very good for this size of a vehicle in this class overall. The mid-size sedans are typically right around here, or 15 or so, so this is wonderful. Another thing is a spare tire is standard. I love to see that. That's becoming less and less common, and there's a little extra room to maybe put a first aid kit or jumper cables or something like that. But you could fold these down, or at least release it, fold those seats down, because it is a split fold. So that's great. Now let's take a look at the key fob. Kia gives us the smart key system standard. Just like other Kias, you've got buttons on the side, which will include remote start on here too. And this has kind of a, it's not like a rubber backing. I don't know what it is, but it's very nice and comfortable, and still a slim key fob. Now the way that this works is we've got this little dimple right there to push and lock it. Your mirror will flash, and then you've got sensors in the back. It's more responsive typically if I didn't just unlock the thing. But then let's take a look at these front seats. So front seats on this model are different. The lower trims, LX to EX, give you 6-way cloth manual seats. This one gives us synthetic, so it's all synthetic leather. The regular GT is gonna have cloth and synthetic, but another thing that comes with it is the power adjustability, where you get 2-way lumbar support, height and tilt. You don't get that on those lower 3 trims, not even a manual adjustment for lumbar support, which would be nice to see. But these seats are pretty comfortable. You've got good bolstering down here. You've got pretty good bolstering down here too. and the headrest is not too far forward. The GT models will give us heated seats as standard. You cannot get them even optional on the lower trims, at least not in the US, possibly in Canada. And then ventilated seats and memory settings are optional, and we have both. Let me show you. Right over here on the door panel, you'll see your heated seats, your ventilated seats, both 3-tier and 2-position memory settings for the driver and the passenger, for just the driver for the memory settings. The steering wheel is actually only a synthetic material to mimic leather on the EX trim level and up. So no actual leather steering wheel, no heated steering wheel either. That's one of the features that some cars might have that this one doesn't, but this one offers a lot in other ways. The paddle shifters are also only on the GT models. Now let's take a look at the back seat. This is unique because the door handle's up there. It's not hard to reach or anything, but it is unique to this vehicle. Same old grab handle that you'll find on the inside or on the front seat, which is a good big grab handle and a little bottle holder right there. And one thing I gotta say is that the back seat space in this K4 is pretty good. And when I say it's pretty good, it's relative to smaller cars. I've got enough space for my feet. I have the seat pretty low, but knee room is good and it's rock solid back here, so nobody's gonna be kicking you in the back. Then we've got AC vents on this model. Don't get used to that because AC vents are, let me see here, they're only on the GT Turbo actually, which is kind of unique. Then you've got the USB-C ports, a little charging bin, and kind of a medium-sized hump in the middle. But there is a map pocket back there. Those USB-C ports are actually standard on every trim. And then we go to the middle and we find this fold-down armrest with the cup holders. And I can even sit up tall with the hat. I'm 5'9", I can feel my head touch a little bit, but this kind of has a fast sloping roofline, and the fact that I can still sit here is good. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and hop inside and start this K4 up. Push button start right there. Every model will have push button start with their smart key system. Now, over here on the door, you've got kind of a tall bottle holder, but it's definitely not big enough for something with handles. Up here, you've got a really large grab handle. Kia's been really good about this in a lot of vehicles, and a nice soft armrest. It's not real wide back there, but this whole panel, this is soft material up here. Up here is fairly soft as well. This is definitely unexpected for the compact class, which is fantastic. As you saw, the controls up on the door. In here, you've got your interior brightness controls, your parking brake, and traction control. And then the steering wheel is pretty sporty on this GT line. You've got this two-tone, you've got the flat bottom right here, and you even have a drive mode control in there as well. So on the left, we've got our cruise control stuff. You just hit that to turn it on, adjust your speed for your smart cruise, your radar cruise, the distance, lane centering technology. This is where you can control the screen. So you can change a few different views here. Nothing spectacular, but you can scroll through different pieces of information. This digital display is actually standard on this model. Otherwise, you'll get a smaller 4-inch screen. I'm not sure what that 4-inch screen looks like, but this is a 12.3-inch screen on the EX model and up. And it also includes this little climate screen right here too. So you can see on there. We can even tap to adjust. So if I want to take that away, let's see here, change your fan direction on there, which is kind of interesting. You can do your defrost on here too, recirculation, hit auto, etc. So it's a little bit unique. And when I'm sitting here, I don't see the temperature on my side all the time, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of unique. You still have physical climate controls down below as well, but you have to still rely on that for some things. I like being able to just do fan speed and temp right here and mode. So you got most of what you need right there. Now another thing that is pretty cool is when we turn our blinker on, we've got the digital camera, the blind spot view monitor on either side. This is from some more expensive Kia and Hyundai and Genesis models. And now we have it in this Kia K4. This is pretty fantastic. Coming over to the big screen, we've got a 12.3-inch touchscreen as standard. So that is pretty sweet. Every model is going to get this large screen. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You're also going to find a volume knob down here. So this can be volume. You can mute or like turn it off completely. You have the typical Kia line of buttons. I like this. You can make this star button be whatever you want it to be. I love how we have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And we also have a wireless charger down there on the EX trim level and up, so you can actually be wireless. Go back to Kia's regular screen, and this is really nicely laid out. There's a lot of different customization you can do, especially when you go over to setup, go to vehicle, and there's a bunch of different stuff that you can explore and customize. It's a really nice, easy setup, if you ask me, in terms of how user-friendly it is. Now, coming down, we've got more plugs. So you've got USB-C plugs right there. You also have a 12-volt power outlet tucked in behind that one section. And this is actually like a soft kind of rubberized liner, so it's grippy and stuff does not slide around. Large phones fit in there as well. And I want to go back up to this. We also get this intelligent or surround view monitor. This is optional on this GT Turbo. So this is an optional feature, not standard on anything in particular, but check it out. You can see around the vehicle. I mean, this is a really nice and clear camera system. That's an option if you want to get it. As you saw the price earlier, this is a pretty spendy model. Another thing about this screen is you'll get a 4-speaker system on the base, then a 6-speaker or an 8-speaker Harman Kardon audio system, which is what we have in this model. One more thing about this is that we have Kia's AI assistant. So you can be like, hey Kia, tell me a joke.
What do you call a fish wearing a crown? A kingfish.
Okay, sometimes it's been pretty slow actually, but it's smarter than your typical voice activation. You can tell it to like change the climate control, things like that. It's still listening to me, but there's a lot that you can do with it. You'll really have to explore to check that out. But here's our shifter. We've got a brake hold button right there. We also have parking sensors over here, and you can quickly access your 360 camera with that button. And then check this out. I do like this. I think I first saw this with the Hyundai Palisade. You can make this just a big wide open area, or you can have cup holders. You can push them both away if you want. You've got good size and you still have little storage areas next to it, or you can just do one, however you want to roll with that. It's a pretty cool little feature. Now this armrest right here, it has some padding. It's kind of soft, you know, a little bit like synthetic rubberized type material. And then in here, it's just a kind of a small-ish storage bin. Now, another storage bin, if we go over here, check it out. We've got this drop-down glove box. It's not lockable, it's not softly lined, nothing like that we would typically expect at this price point, but it is decent size. One thing I want to mention, you can probably see it, there's a little bit of ambient lighting under there in a few different spots in this car, so it does look pretty nice at night, which is just optional on this GT Turbo model. Overhead, one thing that is a little surprising is that the rearview mirror is a manual flip on every model. I honestly like this. I'm okay with it. A lot of times I find that the auto dimming rearview mirrors don't do a great job, but this is just the standard option on every model. We will get LED overhead lighting in here, as you can see with that. And then we will find a wide sunroof. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's that wide, it's just slightly wider. That's optional on the GT or standard on this turbo model. The visors will slide out, which is great. Then one quick little look at the blind spot. It's not great, but at least you do have a little window right there. But what do you think of the interior? Now, under the hood for the Kia K4, we've got two different options. They're both gas engines. There's no hybrid or plug-in version. It's just regular old gas here. So the base models, or the lower trim, basically all of the lower trim models are going to get a naturally aspirated 2-liter 4-cylinder with the CVT transmission, whereas this one gets the turbo. This is a GT line turbo, and it gets the 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's direct injected, 190 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, so that's a significant bump over the lower trim engine. This turbo also gives us a regular 8-speed automatic, whereas the others will give you the CVT, they call it an IVT, intelligent variable transmission, and all of these cars are going to be front-wheel drive standard. Miles per gallon is pretty good. Now, as you'd expect with the less horsepower version, the base model can get up to 40 mpg on the highway, where this turbo can still get 36 mpg on the highway, so not bad, 29 mpg overall, and this still has Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. So no matter which engine you get, you still get that warranty. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Kia K4. And one thing I want to mention is that the smart cruise control, the lane keeping system, those are both standard on here alongside other safety features as well. Kia's highway drive assist, the more advanced version, is on the GT models, and the newest highway drive assist 2 is optional on the GT here, which we have as an option. This can even change lanes for you when you use your signal and you have highway drive assist engaged during your smart cruise control, all of that. So it's a very advanced system. We also have blind spot monitoring. It does a great job lane centering as well, and it shows you everything right here. So I mean, this car is pretty much loaded. This has options on top of being the top trim. It's pretty great. We'll talk a little bit about the driving dynamics as a whole, the acceleration, maybe a little bit about how it compares to some others in its class and its competitors. And this one, it's pretty smooth overall. It's really got effortless acceleration in town with this 1.6 liter turbo. We'll stomp on it a little bit later. We'll go through these drive modes. So the drive mode button is down here. We've got normal and we've got sport. That's it. They don't have their smart mode like they do on some of their older models, which I kind of like the smart mode, or no eco mode either, but normal is really all you need, and most people might not even change some drive modes. Now, here is one thing to know. This is loaded up on features. This is kind of a rougher textured surface. This is one area where they did a little bit of cost cutting. As is typical is the road noise. There is some road noise that gets in here. You know, the tires play a big role. New tires aren't always the best, but it's present in here. This one doesn't have the laminated glass on the side windows either. Not saying that it should, it's just not a common thing for the compact class of car. Now, let's go ahead and put the pedal down. Definitely a lag. But once it grabs, it goes. It really does. It's got good punch to it. If you're looking for an actual like sporty car, this isn't necessarily sporty, but it's fun and it's definitely peppy. And I think most of you that get the K4 are not going to get this GT turbo. You're going to get the 2-liter 4-cylinder, which is certainly going to be a lot less powerful and a lot less torquey. Let me put us in sport mode here. It's going to keep the RPMs up pretty quickly. Partial pedal is quick to respond. At a full throttle back there, it took a while to downshift and get going with some turbo lag. I've definitely noticed turbo lag at certain times. But that's really not what this car is all about. I would say ride comfort is on par with the rest of this class. There's definitely a little bit of jitteriness. The lower trims have a slightly subpar rear suspension compared to this. This one has an independent suspension, those ones don't. But the handling in here is that this is a very light and tossable feeling car. The steering isn't super lightweight, like not feather touch, but it's very easy to maneuver. So overall, driving dynamics of this car are good. Kia's done a really nice job. This is definitely a well done car in terms of features, standard equipment, safety features as well, the driving dynamics. There's just a lot that goes into it, and Kia's done a nice job. Ergonomics in here are also pretty good. You know, it's easy to use these controls, the steering wheel controls. It's very comfortable to hold on to. This has a nice bulky grip right here. So there's really not a lot to complain about. And those of you, most of the comments on Kia videos is that it's a Kia, you know, it's cheap, it's not put together well. Well, Kia gives you a really good warranty, from bumper to bumper, and the 10-year powertrain warranty. So at least you have that as an option if you really want to. And I have no complaints really driving this car. I have not driven the 2-liter 4-cylinder in this model, but I've driven the 2-liter 4-cylinder in other models, and it definitely feels a little laggy, but good enough for most day-to-day applications. But hope you enjoyed this test drive. Let's go ahead and wrap things up. So to wrap things up on this 2025 Kia K4, I really like what Kia did. Kia always offers pretty good value, especially with the EX trim level. Not what we have here, but across the board, the EX gets a lot of features. Even though you don't get this turbo engine wasn't quite as fun as I was maybe expecting, and maybe as you would expect. But overall, it's a very nice car, lots of standard equipment, and a great competitor in this compact class. Leave your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.